Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We hope that you enjoy this little piece of home, because I'm sure that you don't get to go home all too often, right?
Yeah, it feels like home, yeah. Seeing the hockey jerseys, the hockey puck, and everything Canada. It's nice.
So why don't we go to the very beginning, where it all started. At home in Canada, what got you into soccer?
Yeah, I started playing at a very young age. I was 5 years old when I picked it up. I used to kick the ball around the house, when I was even younger than that. But basically, my family are from the Caribbean, my mother and father. So that's the biggest sport over there.
I was going to say,
yeah.
how does someone in Canada, especially when you got into it,
Exactly.
how do you get into a sport that really isn't all that popular?
That's right, yeah. It's hockey. That's the biggest sport there, and a few other sports as well.
And did you ever think that when you were growing up that this would actually become something of a career for you, that when you become professional, you would actually be able to make a living out of soccer?
It took a while until I got to that point. At first, I was more about just, having fun. I loved it the first moment I started playing it, and I had a lot of friends and some of my cousins and such that I played it. So the people around me, we played a lot, and I really just loved the game, just being out there all the time and, touching the ball as much as I could. And I guess the older I got is when I started thinking, more serious about it, thinking, maybe I have a chance at pushing it further and making it a career. Once I realized I was a bit better than, the kids around me. So yeah, it took a bit of time.
How did you transition from, let's say, amateur soccer into the professional realm?
So yeah, it started with playing with like the provincial team, which was the better players from all the clubs around in that area, Ontario, where I grew up. So I got selected to that team, and I started thinking a bit more like, I'm playing with some of the better players around in our province, and I'm still kind of standing out. So you start thinking, maybe there's a future in pushing this forward. So I had the national team after that a few years later, and I continued to develop as a player, learn the game. I always worked very hard, and I think that helped me a lot.
And you certainly didn't stop there. The world was very much your oyster. You looked well far and beyond Canada. Was there any particular reason why you decided to go to Europe at such a young age?
Yeah, in Canada there wasn't really any avenue of playing at a very high level, so you had to think outside of North America. The MLS was starting to pick up. It was getting a little bit better and better, as time went on. But I grew up watching football and watching European football. United was my team growing up. Actually, there was a Trinidadian player where I come from. My parents are from Trinidad. They had a player that was playing for United, Dwight York. And,
of course, yeah.
So he was the player that, I really started focusing on at a young age. And I said, I would love to get that chance of playing, on a big stage in front of, big stadiums with a lot of fans in there, and that's basically what kind of sparked my interest.
How did you transition to Europe from a personal point of view? Because you were quite young when you made that move over to Europe.
To Europe, yeah, it wasn't an easy transition for me. Obviously, I had dreams, I had goals of making that move to Europe, and leaving Canada was obviously never easy, but it's what I really wanted to do, I knew that if I was going to take my chance, I had to make that move and go into Europe. So I was fortunate enough to have a team that, wanted to take a chance on me, a team in Sweden. Basically signed me on a 6-month trial with an option of another year. And yeah, I didn't think twice about going over, and it worked out. I was, one of the better players on the team, had a great season, and ended up signing another contract, and just kind of continued from there.
What are some of the best times that you spent?
Yeah, so many amazing moments. I got a chance to see it all. I played with, as I mentioned, the first team I played with in Sweden. We got relegated in that first season, so you learn how hard it is and what it takes to be playing at the highest level in Sweden. And then from there, I took another step and played with a better team in Sweden. So playing with good teams from Sweden, I went to Denmark and played with probably the best team in Scandinavia, and I got that chance to win trophies. We won 4 trophies in 4.5 years. So, getting that taste of what it is to win a championship, it's a special feeling, playing with big clubs, having, the number of fans in the stadiums. And basically I was just taking, the right steps,
Climbing
with
the ladder.
climbing the ladders, exactly. And the whole journey for me was amazing. As you mentioned, Turkey, it's something we'll speak more about, but for me it was an amazing experience.
That ladder took you straight to the Champions League as well.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So in my second season in Denmark, we were playing in Champions League. You know, we qualified, we played against Ajax away and had a, you know, like a historical win for the club. And you know, from that moment, for me, it was my dream. You know, I grew up watching Champions League, you know, every week, and to have that moment at playing a Champions League game, like that was a dream come true for me.
And the Champions League is the coup de grace. It's the highest level that you can really hope to play for whenever it comes to club soccer. So what were your memories of playing in the Champions League? What was the best thing about it, and also the first goal that you ever scored?
Yes, well, just like that first game we played in the Champions League, hearing the song when you're walking out onto the pitch, it gives you goosebumps. You know,
I knew
like,
you were going to say that.
yeah, it's you always hear it on the television, but to actually hear that playing out in the stadium, the whole stadium singing the song, it's a special moment. And then you move like a little bit forward. I played Man United in my first Champions League experience. That's one of the most special moments of my career, you know, getting a chance to play against the team I was watching every week on TV, and just to be like on the pitch with guys like Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes, Wayne Rooney, like it was so surreal for me. So yeah.
Did you say anything to any of them?
I was young, focused on the game, obviously. Didn't really know what to say. I said one thing to Rio Ferdinand, and I was like, I need your jersey, man. So that's the only thing I said to any one of those guys. But yeah, cool experience.
Did he give it to you?
I got his jersey. I did. I got Ferdinand's jersey. Yeah. Second game we played him in our stadium. I knew we weren't going to play them again. I said, look, you got to give me your jersey, man. He said, all right, mate. Yeah, so that was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2013, Besiktas come calling. They say, come on, pack up, head over to Turkey. And this is a big deal. I mean, we're talking about a very big club here. So what did it feel like? Because obviously you probably didn't know this at the time, but it was really going to kickstart what would be an epic journey for you. 10 years with the club back in 2013 it started.
Yeah, so I knew of the interest. We had spoken for about a month before I actually ended up signing, and during that period I was speaking with some players, some old teammates that had played in Turkey before, and they told me at the time, like, if you ever get a chance to go to Turkey, you got to take it, you know, especially if it's Istanbul and one of the bigger teams. So I knew how big Besiktas was as a club. I didn't know that they were that big until the moment I went over there and got the reception from the fans, played our first game in the stadium. It was a big derby game, and amazing how passionate the fans are, how much love they have for the game, how they took me in as a player, took my family in. Only amazing memories, and you know, had the chance to win some championships there. So 10 years of some of the best football I got to experience playing out in Europe.
I imagine one of the highlights was the praise that you got from none other than Arsene Wenger after playing against Arsenal in the Champions League, where he said that you were the most impressive player in that match. I mean, do you remember when he said that? I do,
yeah. A lot of my friends were calling me and telling me about what he had said. I didn't know right away, but yeah, one of the best coaches of all time, and for him to praise me that way, I was just shocked. Like, I had a good game. I didn't know I was that good for him to speak about me in that way. So I was just like, I was ecstatic to hear that, you know, from a coach of that stature.
So I know that it's going to be very difficult for you to probably answer this one, because a decade is an incredibly long time.
Yeah.
And you've already mentioned some of the special elements that come along with the experience of joining a club like Besiktas. But what would you say are some of the best moments, standout moments, unique moments from your time?
There's quite a few of them. Obviously, like the derby games that you play in Istanbul, you know, the Besiktas Galatasaray games, Besiktas Fenerbahce games, the build-up leading up towards those games. It's just everything stops for that week until that game comes around. So you know, a lot of nerves come with it, but yeah, just the atmospheres that are created in the stadium, you don't get to see that in a lot of parts of Europe. So
it's second to none, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. And yeah, to have that chance to experience that like on a weekly basis was amazing. And then we, you know, as I said, we won 3 championships, and what it does to the fans there, and the celebrations that come along with it. You know, we had special celebrations on the bus for us, and those are things that will like be stuck in my head for forever. You know, like amazing images and yeah, great experiences.
What are the wildest, craziest, most mind-blowing things that you've seen from fans, from Besiktas fans?
I've seen a lot of crazy things.
I can imagine, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, maybe as I was just mentioning about the celebrations on the boat, like there's people like jumping.
But were they on the boat with you?
Yeah.
Or were they swimming into the Bosphorus trying to get over to the...
Almost. They're like hanging out the side. They just want to get close to like where we are on the boats, you know, like it's pretty crazy to see. Hundreds of boats around us, you know, so they show a lot of love to the players and show how much love they have for the club. It's like, it's really special to see.
And I tell you what, 20, 30, 50 years from now, they're still going to be treating you the same way whenever they see you on the street.
Yeah, they still are right now, so it's good to see that they have that love for me. It means a lot to me, you know, like I had a great time, and I always try to just be like humble, keep my feet on the ground, you know, be a good you know, leader to the people around me, and just have a good image of the club, because it means a lot to myself, and I know how much it's meant to the fans as well. So it's been great.
So let's switch gears for a moment and talk about your international career with Canada. The player to amass, I think, 100 caps, the men's player to be the first to amass 100 caps, right? More than anybody else?
Yep, no one has played more than 100, that's right.
Yeah,
I played 104
And you were the first person to do it, right?
That's right, first one to hit 100, yeah.
And 6-time Canada Player of the Year award, I think we should also slip that one in there as well.
Yeah, I had an amazing career with Canada. Just the whole journey of it, Canada had given me so much, you know, you kind of need your national team to help you get out there, and you know, we weren't the best nation, we didn't have the biggest players around us, but over time we developed as a country, and it was amazing to see where we started and to where the country is now, and how much support there is in football, and just my journey with them overall, like putting that jersey on every single time, stepping out onto the pitch, representing your country. It's a special feeling, you know. You don't get that chance to represent your country every day. So yeah, it always meant a lot for me, and I'm truly grateful for, you know, all the support that has been given to us over the years, and it's gotten better and better. And yeah, an amazing time, and it finished off on a high with playing in a World Cup, so it was great.
Speaking of which, I think perhaps maybe the best symbol of that growth that you were talking about over this time period throughout your career, maybe the best representation of that is the qualification for the 2022 World Cup. Yeah. What was it like to be the captain, no less, of Canada playing in the World Cup?
Yeah, it was crazy, because I honestly, the cycle before that, when we didn't qualify for the World Cup, I thought I was done. I was getting older. I felt like I had given all I had for the country, and felt like maybe I didn't have much more in the tank. So it wasn't even a question that I would continue. And I got on a call with the coach, and kind of just pushed me on, and we took it one game at a time. And yeah, just to see what happened with the team, and how things gelled, how the players started going out into Europe, playing with big clubs, the younger guys. And just how much better we got as a team, and then to see how the country started rallying behind us over those 3-4 years, which we didn't have before. You know, we used to play a lot of games at home, and we would play home games against Honduras, for example, and they had the majority of their fans were in the stadium. So everything just turned like completely, and to see the fans really start showing up for us, it's something that I was really longing for, and just amazing to see how everything came together right at the end of my career, and for us to, you know, go through that cycle, get the support we had, and play a World Cup. couldn't have asked for a better ending for sure.
It's a beautiful send-off for you specifically, and honestly I remember watching you guys play in the World Cup and you were so impressive. I mean, I think you earned a lot of people's respect all around the world. People really sat up, took notice and said, hey, look at what Canada are doing. I mean, they're here to compete and they can compete.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it was really something to see.
For us, it wasn't about just going to the World Cup. We knew we had a good enough team to go there and turn a lot of heads, make people notice what we've got going on in Canada.
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps for the first time, maybe ever, at least on a global scale, right?
That's right, yeah. And Canada was always a country that was looked at as, players playing hockey or other sports, as we mentioned before. So for us to put, the country on the map and put the world on notice it was cool to be a part of, because it took a lot of stick over the years with, former players and media. Nobody ever showed the respect that Canada, I think, deserved, and I think we got that in the end. So it was nice. We didn't get the results in the World Cup, but we went out there and played, very good football. Yeah, it looked good.
You can absolutely be proud about that, no question about that. And I think one of the exciting things too is that you have really young, exciting talent that is coming through, that is now maybe appearing more often in Europe, for example, and you can really see that development and growth that you were already touching on a bit earlier, the fact that it is now starting to have much more of a spillover effect in a much bigger way. What would be some of the young players that are really standing out at the moment for you that you think could really be stars of the future?
Yeah.
Well, there's only one for certain who's killing it.
That's right. Playing with one of the biggest clubs and consistently playing every game and playing at a high level. I think that's what Canada needed. They needed to see these guys on the screens, playing in Champions Leagues, going far in the tournament, winning Champions League. And we're seeing multiple players that are, coming through now and doing well with their clubs, winning championships. It only, brings out that interest for the younger generation much more, and it's very similar to what happened in the U.S. years ago, and it's happening now in Canada, and something that makes me very proud. I never won at a level like, for example, Alphonso Davies has done, but, I'm one of the guys that were, the first guys to go out there in Europe and start making a name for myself, and just to see the level that these guys are doing at now, it's what we needed in Canada.
That's the thing, you've created that path. You've shown others back at home, hey, you can do this. It is possible. Even if people before didn't necessarily look at Canada as a soccer producing country, now that perspective is changing, it is shifting, and people are looking at Canada and saying, well, you know what, actually, here you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's exactly what needed to happen. They needed to see us playing in the Champions League on a weekly basis, playing in a World Cup. It just sparked so much in the country.
And hosting the next World Cup, I imagine, has something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Do you miss it at all? Do you wish that you could still be out there playing? Or do you feel that, it was good, I had a wonderful 20-year career, it's time for another thing in life?
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like my last season, I basically played that season because of the World Cup. I maybe would have even stopped a year before that. What's amazing is that the club I played for, Besiktas, they knew that, and because of the World Cup, we had a talk, and they gave me another contract basically because.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they knew like how much it meant to me. So.
They clearly wanted to see you succeed.
That's right. Yeah, it was good for myself and obviously for the club, for Turkey, all of that. So before that, I was kind of ready in my head. So. I didn't want to just, end it like that. I needed to do the right things, obviously, but I was kind of preparing for retirement. So I miss being around the guys, obviously, the traveling with the team, all good memories. But it was my time, yeah.
What's the best thing about the retired life?
Yeah.
I mean, the football retired life.
Yeah. I think just not having a routine. I can wake up when I want. I got small kids, so I'm taking them to school all the time.
So really, you can't wake up whenever you want?
I can't. But I don't have to be at a certain place for a certain time. So just that freedom to just have my own schedule, spend more time with the kids. It's something that I didn't really get a chance to do before, and I'm really enjoying that.
So what does a normal day in the life of Atiba Hutchinson look like now?
Right now, it's wake up in the morning with my boys, take them to school, go home and spend some time with my baby girl, my wife, and just being around. I play a bit of paddle. It's a new sport that I've picked up. Really enjoy it. I'm a competitor, so I found a sport that keeps me going, you know, so yeah.
Oh, so maybe a new career then for you.
Maybe a new career, yeah. I could, I see some old guys still playing paddle.
You can play, that's the beauty of paddle. You can play pretty much at any age.
That's right, yeah. So
watch out, world. We've got
a
new future world champion of paddle.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. I enjoy it.
So you're Canadian, I'm American. I'm hoping by the end of this you'll adopt me in as an honorary Canadian. So we can't leave without you teaching me how to be Canadian.
Canadian, yeah.
And I think one of the first things we have to start with, since we're in a pub, is food.
Food.
We've got to start there, right?
Well, there we go.
So first and foremost, you're going to walk me through this. What on earth is this?
This is called poutine.
Poutine.
So yeah, this is a Canadian dish, I guess you would call it.
Okay, specialty?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Delicacy
so
even? French fries?
Maybe, yeah. So you got the fries with a bit of a lot of gravy.
Yeah.
And
swimming in gravy.
Yeah, and some
Was that
cheese.
cheese?
So, yeah, I grew up eating this. On our high school breaks, we'd go off to Harvey's. And
Okay.
we'd eat a lot of this. Harvey's is like a fast food place, and
Got you.
I lived off of this.
So this is the secret sauce to all of your success then, poutine.
That's what got me to where I got to, exactly.
How did you survive the last 10 years in Istanbul without this?
Eating that, yeah. I haven't been eating it for years. I cut that out a long time ago.
Yeah, I can't imagine this would be the healthiest thing for you to eat.
Not eating that every day, that's for sure. Give it a go.
Yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, you've got to tell me at least if it's up to the standards of what you expect.
I will.
Okay, so I'm going to take a fry here. I'm going to dip it in some sauce.
Never
some
tried
gravy.
it, right?
Never. I've never even heard of it before.
Never heard of it.
Sorry, Canada. I'm here to learn. Actually, it's quite nice.
It is a good poutine, yeah. That's no fake stuff. That's the real deal there.
It's actually quite
You're
good.
enjoying that,
I'm enjoying it. Either that or I'm really hungry. But anything you want to say to everybody out there just before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here, happy to be a part of this in a Canadian bar here in London. I'm happy to see how things are going with football in Canada, and let's keep going with how things are, and yeah, a bit of my story, and I hope it was all right.
All right, well, let's give a Canadian cheers with some Canadian beer to that.
Canadian beer, yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.